get pulled over, but it don't look like I'm going to. I pulled out of the grocery store up here, and the road is like 2.5 lanes wide right there, but it's the lines painted on it. It has one lane, and then it has these big yellow stripes going across. What would be a left-hand turn lane, because there's no left. You can't turn left there. So instead of the left-hand turn lane, they marked out these big, thick-ass yellow stripes. So I pull the stop sign, and I look over at the cop. There's a car in front of me, and I look over. The cop's playing on his fucking iPad. I'm watching him. He puts the iPad down and looks at his computer for a second. And I rolled the window down, and I said, "Hey." He rolled the window down. He said, "Yeah." I said, "Hey, man, are we allowed to park there?" And he said, "No, I'm waiting on something." I said, "So I'm allowed to park there for waiting on something?" He said, "I got this under control." "Well, I'm sure you do." And it's the same old shit. Like I told him, I said, "And you motherfuckers wonder why people laugh when y'all get the shit beat out of you on the side of the road and shit now. Because they truly think they're above the law. The law just don't apply to them. We've all seen it. We all see it. I mean, it's a constant, it's a known, and really does anything about it. I might go up there tomorrow and just park there. Well, I can't tomorrow. Yeah, maybe this time tomorrow night or something. I'll just go up there and just park. And when they pull up, I'll just say, "I'm waiting on something." Right? I mean, it's a good justification for them, but not for me. And the dude was literally sitting there playing with his fucking iPad. I mean, it frustrates me to the core that people cannot see the issues with policing in this country. You got to pay to go to work. You got to pay when you pay anything. It's tax. 60% of your gross income, of your net income. I'm sorry. Of your gross income. 60% of annual household, the gross income of the household, because there's some form of taxation in this country on average. Some people pay more, some people pay less. On average, it's 60%. Motherfuckers started stacking bodies over a 3% tax on tea and kicked the shit to the fucking harbor. So they destroyed the tea and then started fucking killing people over it. And here we are 250 years later. 60% slaves. Really, we're 100% slaves. They just let us keep a little bit of it to make us think we're free. So, because some people still buy into that bullshit, that freedom. It's not bullshit. The ideal of freedom is great. However, we don't practice freedom in the United States. It's the biggest lie. I mean, like the scam that has the scams plural that have been pulled off in this country over the last 220-ish years, not 200 years really, are fucking mind-boggling to me that it's been able to happen. But I mean, I've said it before. If me and two other people had more wealth than 95% or 90% or 80% of the rest of the world combined had, could we plot out through bribes, paying off for different policies, starting police forces and all that other shit, could we make it so that our great grandkids ran the world? I think it's very possible. I think that if you don't think that something along those lines has happened, you haven't sat down and really thought about what's going on in the world, not just in the United States, but the world as a whole. You know, and then the Bible. You know, I've never been a okay, I can't say that. I was actually a Bible thumper at one time, believe it or not, years ago, years and years ago. This is before uh, Christy and I. For a little bit, I was a Bible thumper, and then I realized something that it didn't make sense. A lot of it didn't make sense. You know, it was like 27 different stories told 15 different ways. And then, you know, I started digging into the Bible and who King James was, and you know, some of the things that happened during his reign over Britain, like banning the Bible. And the only Bibles that were legal were the King James Version, 1611s, which today is the closest thing we have to the Bible. And they say that because he took the Bible and added some shit to it that he wanted. And, you know, generations later, here we are with a few families running the world. You know, Romans chapter 13. Any authority placed before you was put before you by God. Therefore, you shall obey. Could you guys hear that? Could you hear me talking? Oh, I don't even know if I got the chat on. I don't. I'm sorry. My bad. Not that anybody chats, but you know, it's just I'm super amazed that people just don't see it. They cannot see how they have been manipulated into believing all the bullshit of this world, and especially of this fucking country. And it's getting to the tipping point now where like people can't afford to live. You know, I've broken down 15 times now. In order, if you start from zero today, you have to make 80 grand a year to even possibly be able to survive. Possibly on your own. It's fucking insane. But stay tuned. Tomorrow, the next day, we're going to go up there and we're going to park right where that fucking pig was parked at. And we're just going to sit there. And we're going to wait on something. And we're going to have it under control. So it's going to be all good.